Welcome to Everything's an Illusion. This is the show where we slow things down and look at the stories people repeat with confidence and ask where they actually came from.
Because a shocking number of things online are treated like established fact when they're really just vibes with commitment.
We're not here to tell you what to think.
We're here to ask why this specific story survived when logic clearly tried to kill it.
Today we're starting a series on fake origin stories.
Specifically, the kind where the internet insists every meme, sound, or cartoon was secretly born from human suffering.
Because apparently, joy isn't allowed to exist without a body count.
So let's start with the one that kicked this whole thing off. The goofy laugh. You know the one. The exaggerated laugh that pops up in memes.
The distorted, over-the-top one.
Yeah. According to the internet, that laugh came from a real kid. A kid who physically couldn't stop laughing.
Which already sounds like something that would come with paperwork.
Now that's classified.
Of course it is. What better way to cover up both rumors and real events but to toss out the "it's top secret" and highly classified lingo?
According to the story, doctors were baffled. The laughing went on for days, so they recorded it as a medical anomaly.
And that recording somehow escaped the hospital.
Survived decades, skipped every archive, dodged ethics boards and lawsuits.
And landed in meme culture.
Now that sounds a little more skeptical. Not, of course, because hospitals historically are very casual about letting audio wander off. Anything will leak for the right desire.
Okay, Mavic. Let's say the claim cleanly, and not dive into the rabbit hole of what could have gone wrong this time.
But that's so fun.
I know, but you can chase bunnies later.
Promise.
Only if you're relatively good.
No promises.
It was worth a shot. Anyway, the story goes, a child develops uncontrollable laughter. Doctors record it. That recording becomes the source of a viral meme laugh.
Every time someone tells this story, it sounds detailed.
But it never actually is. Kind of like my diet planner.
Yes, much like her empty notebook, calling itself a diet planner. Everything important is blank. There's no name, no hospital, no doctor, no diagnosis you can look up. Of course, that doesn't mean there is no book, but it seems unlikely that the planner's real.
Even the decade changes depending on who's telling it. Not only is there no record of anything reliable, but even the decade itself seems to change.
Which is impressive for a supposedly documented medical case. Before we go any further, we need to pause for a second. Because this is where a lot of people get tripped up.
When people hear the goofy laugh, they assume we're talking about one specific thing.
And that assumption is doing a lot of work for the myth.
There is a well-documented origin for Goofy's laugh as a character.
Which is clean, recorded intentionally, on purpose, by someone who knew exactly what they were doing.
No mystery there.
So what this story actually does is blur two things together. A known, established character laugh, and a later meme-style exaggerated laugh that evolved online.
The myth never clarifies which one it means, though some people assume and put images to the story.
And that's not an accident. Because if you let people assume it's tied to something official, it feels legitimate without you having to prove anything.
So people think they're uncovering hidden lore.
When really, They're watching remix culture get retroactively explained with a tragic backstory slapped on top.
And once that assumption sets in, the story doesn't need evidence anymore.
It just needs confidence.
This is where it gets psychological. People don't share this because it's proven. They share it because it feels right.
Sound is invisible. You can't see how it was made.
Which makes people uncomfortable.
So they assume it must have come from something physical, preferably tragic.
There's resistance to the idea that sound can be acted, layered, or synthesized.
People don't want a guy in a booth. They want a patient, an accident, a locked room, a forbidden recording.
A meme feels more meaningful if someone suffered for it.
Which says a lot about us.
Another giveaway is how the story evolves. Early versions are simple.
A kid laughed too much.
Later versions add neurological disorders, institutionalization, suppression.
Because they don't want you to know is the ultimate shield. Once that's in play, questioning the story makes you the problem.
That's folklore, not medicine. There's another layer to this myth that doesn't get talked about enough. The visuals people use.
Yeah. Nobody's believing this story off plain text alone.
Well, some people believe anything. Even a badly generated AI image. So I wouldn't say nobody.
Fair point.
Still, people are using images to back this myth. One of the most common images is a single frozen frame of Goofy mid-laugh.
And it always looks off.
Wide mouth, eyes half closed, face stretched in a way that feels unsettling.
Which, despite being creepy or just plain weird looking, is just how animation works.
Exactly. Animation exaggerates movement so it reads in motion.
But when you pause it, your brain goes, why does this look like something went wrong?
Because it was never meant to be still.
Freeze any cartoon mid-movement, and it looks cursed.
But the myth treats that still frame like evidence.
Yeah, like, this is the moment something bad happened.
There's something else happening here psychologically. We trust still images more than motion.
Motion feels performative. Stillness feels documented.
A paused frame feels like a photograph.
And photographs feel like proof.
Even when they're just a single slice of movement taken out of context.
So the myth quietly relies on that instinct.
The next thing you'll notice, color disappears.
Everything turns black and white.
Which immediately tells your brain, this is archival.
Old. Historical. Found footage.
Even though it's just a filter.
But black and white carries authority. It says, this came from another time. This survived something.
It makes the image feel like it predates explanation.
Which is perfect for a story that doesn't want to explain anything.
Then come the glitches. Scan lines, static, VHS distortion.
The universal symbol for, this file wasn't supposed to exist.
Glitches imply damage.
And damage implies secrecy and age.
It suggests the recording was hidden, it degraded over time. Something went wrong.
Which conveniently explains why the story doesn't add up.
Because if the facts don't line up...
Well, yeah, the file's corrupted.
And that right there is the escape hatch.
Every time.
If something doesn't line up, you don't fix the story.
You blame the medium. That's what I would do.
Mavic.
What? It's fun.
You know what? I'm not even gonna touch that.
At some point, you can just blame the media and go home early.
Not today.
If not today, perhaps tomorrow?
Anyway, glitches don't just imply damage, they imply history.
Damage suggests time. Time suggests significance.
So once visuals take over, facts don't matter anymore.
It just needs to feel investigated.
And that's where real experiences get overwritten.
And when you strip the story down past the aesthetics, you're left with something really simple. There is no documented medical case tying a meme sound to a hospital recording.
No provenance, no chain of custody, no ethics nightmare.
And that matters.
Because if this were real, it wouldn't be a mystery. It would be a scandal, most likely.
Now here's where reality actually outdoes the myth. In 1962, in what is now Tanzania, there was a real event known as the laughing epidemic.
Which already sounds fake enough to be a TikTok myth.
It began in a girls' boarding school. Students started laughing uncontrollably, not happily, but distressingly.
The kind of laughter where your body does something your mind doesn't agree to.
It spread. Schools closed. Villages were affected.
And nobody clipped it for memes.
Doctors later identified it as mass psychogenic illness, stress, environment, social transmission.
And notice the difference. Dates, locations, medical explanations.
Reality is detailed. Myths are vague.
Or at least, that's what they want us to believe. Sometimes facts aren't as real as they say they are, and vague is a huge system delete to cover reality. But is this really the case here? Likely not.
Okay, before we wrap this up, let's just give a shout out to our sponsor, Dubby.
Dubby is a gaming-focused energy drink made for people who want sustained energy and focus without sugar crashes, which is why it's popular with gamers, streamers, and people doing long creative or mental sessions.
Basically, people who need energy without the drink it and regret it spiral.
It's clearly not for everyone, especially people with ingredient sensitivities. But for people who already know artificial sweeteners work fine for them, it fills a specific niche.
And if you're the kind of person who actually reads labels and decides for yourself instead of trusting marketing hype, you're already doing it right.
If Dubby does fit your needs, you can use our coupon code StarlitHeart for 10% off your order.
That's Starlit Heart. That's StarlitHeart. One word. And just to be clear, if I had that kind of energy boost, we'd never finish an episode. Not because I'd be loud, because I wouldn't stop talking. So this sponsorship is probably for the people who actually need the energy, not the guy who restrains himself from caffeine for your listening benefit. Now, back to the show. So yes, uncontrollable laughter is real. Just not as a conveniently reusable audio file.
Join us next week for our next dive into the internet lore. This time, we will be moving into cartoons.
Apparently, all of them were secretly based on murdered children, according to the very reliable internet.
Is that what we're calling it now?
We'll explain why adults keep needing that to be true. Honestly, I think it's some sick kick we have. It can't be healthy.
And yet, here we all are.
Until next time, this has been Everything's an Illusion.